I got a few smaller logs of the black oak to cut up, and I got one of my favorite echoes out. It's the oldie but a goodie. So it's the CS 45 P, or 450P, I should say. The only equivalent to this now is the 4510. That's where I was getting the 4 numbers from. So this is just a 450P. It's an oldie but a good saw, and aluminum handle and all that good stuff. And I wanted to run it a little bit to cut this up, but I got a Steele's version of the MS250, so I wanted to run the two of them to see which one I may or may not like better and which one you may or may not like better. So that's a new saw, whereas this saw is probably 10 or 15 years old. This has a 20-inch bar on it here, and that one, the max you can put on it, they say, is 18 inches. So these came stock with 20s and 16s and 18s. So I give it to Echo. So I wanted to run this a little bit and just do kind of a comparison to get a feel myself, and maybe you guys can see the difference between the two saws. This is a fairly reasonable saw to get. Those are a little bit more if you buy them new, but you can usually pick these up on the marketplace pretty reasonable, and I think they're great cutters. So you're about to see 18-inch bar, 45cc. This one is 45cc, but it has a 20-inch bar. And I think it may surprise you how much better that one does than the Stihl clone. All right, we'll start off with this Echo first and get it fired up. I will say the Echoes tend to like to be warmed up a little bit before you get on them. Not too bad. Not too bad. And I was pushing down pretty hard on that just to see if it'd keep going as hard as I pushed, if it would keep powering through it, because Echoes are great for a short stroke and to be really torquey, strong engines on them. So I kind of wanted to show you that. I was able to push down, even for 45 cc's, I was able to push down pretty hard on that. So hopefully I can take my next cut. My support log is right there. So we'll see. So this is the Stihl clone of the MS250. It's got an 18-inch bar on it. Fairly new chain. That one's a well-used chain. That's a well-used saw. But it runs pretty good. This has a bulb to push to prime it, whereas this one doesn't. A lot of the Stihls don't have them until you get into the bigger units. So we'll see how it starts. Come on. All right, that was 4 volts. be fair, this is a brand new saw. I don't know how hard that was used or how hard it was run, but it runs pretty decent. All right, put that on the chopping block. Working on finishing up the second to the last row. All right, so now let's fire up this one. They're already kind of pre-split a little bit, but I want to clean them up. Cut them into quarters. If I slice it again, it's just easier for me to split if they're already kind of pre-split. You know what I mean? Starts good, runs good. I get frustrated sometimes. I go to make a video and it seems like things don't always work out. I thought the bar was chain was sharp, and apparently it's not as sharp as I thought it was. And nothing wants to stay here. YouTuber's life. I thought that was sharp. It looks sharp. Kind of hard to do a comparison if I can't have the chain sharp. All right. Well, it's just a second. I can go sharpen it, and we can start that over because, well, this is just the way it goes. I got it sharpened. I know some of you enjoy watching the videos, and I enjoy making the videos, but the whole YouTube world now, compared to when I started, the pressure to make videos for people to watch has gotten so bad that sometimes it could be a little overwhelming. You forget stuff and you get frustrated when things don't come out perfect. But I'm trying to just make regular videos. My other channel, I use an AI program for the thumbnails, but I refuse to use it for making videos. And I'm trying to keep my videos the same way, just me doing my thing, you know, the human, no AI. But the pressure to get views has gotten to be ridiculous. So this is the 45p like I just started with. And you know that because, you know, this is what you forget where you're at in the video. I'm only human, you know. So I'm trying to bring this stuff to you and show you in case you're looking for a saw or used saw. It's kind of the point of the whole channel is I got different saws. I like buying and wheeling and dealing. And I'm just trying to bring you guys along in case, well, you're looking for a chainsaw. You can kind of get an idea of what might work for you, might not work for you. That's the whole point of the channel and the whole point of me doing it. And I'm trying to get my stuff done at the same time. So let's get this fired up. I say that chain has been well used. That saw's been well used. It's a good saw. It runs good. I already cut some stuff with it. And but I wanted to compare it because this is basically Steel's version of the 45, and that's Echo's. And I like Echo because Echo, we call them torque monsters because they have a short stroke and they got a lot of torque. They're not the fastest cutting saw, so say, but if it is torquing and cutting through the log where that one can't, then which is really faster? Even if the chain speed is faster, is it really faster? You know what I mean? So let's fire this up. Hopefully I got it sharp right. Starts good though, I'll tell you that. Okay, that's a video check. You can't see the saw running. So we have to do these video checks every once in a while to make sure we're not in the picture wrong. push it down hard on this saw so you can see it. Now, of course, that has a 20-inch bar, and that one's only got an 18. So I'm sure if I put a 18-inch bar on that, it would do a lot different and have a new chain, whereas that one doesn't have a new chain. It has a used chain that somebody else sharpened that I've tried to fix. So, anyways, let's do this. I want to cut this one up. I want to cut that one in half again. So, I'm just going to run this one again. Part of it, I think, I was also hitting this log. It's hard to do a comparison when you don't have exact bars and everything, but you get the point. Hard to split. Alright, let's take a piece off of here. See how twisty and knotty that is? That's why I'm kind of cutting them with the chainsaw, because you kind of split them and you end up with all this crooked stuff. Now see, it did a lot better on that piece because the grain is a little straighter. It's a straighter log. A lot of this oak was all just twisted up and not a lot of straight grain. But I figured, if you're going to demonstrate a saw and the power, let's cut it in the worst possible kind of wood scenario that you might get. Like I said, this is all black oak, and this whole tree was just all twisted, and the grain is twisted through the log. It's the hardest stuff to cut through, especially when you're cutting it this way. But that's the whole point, is to show off the saws and kind of how they run. It's still going to split it on the angle. See how hard it is to cut through it, because these logs are just, but that's why a lot of times I'll cut them up like this because trying to split them, like I said, you split it, it'll be all crooked and everything else. And the wood stove I have in here is one of the long wood stoves, so it doesn't have a very big door, so the piece has got to be a little smaller. Let's get this one right here cut up and out of the way, and see how that saw does on that. I'll run one saw, because that's on top. I'll run one saw for every other cut. That way maybe you can see the difference between the two of them. And that's pretty straight grain on that. It's been split a little bit, but it'll kind of give a good example. Get that out of my way. Alright, now we'll try this one here. Out of the way. Tripping over stuff. Get out of the way, folks. Stuck under the wall. A lot of people ask me why I'm constantly revving it up a little bit. Is it'll get pieces of sawdust in there, and I don't like to shut it off until I run that through and make sure there's oil coming off the bar, so I'm not dry starting it. All right, let's make another cut. I think I can get one more cut out of this. Stuff's kind of all teetering on here. I don't want to end up with it on me. Cut this one in half. See how it does? It's a little straighter grain. That's a good run of saw. Now you got to remember, those clones normally come with less restriction in the exhaust. They're usually ported, whereas stuff And I don't know how they get away with it, but like Echo and Steel and Husqvarna, they have to meet all these regulations, and their exhaust is a little more restrictive. But if you open them up, it makes the saw, it does good, because I've opened up several of these saws. So I don't know how these clone saws come over here with less restrictions in them compared to these, but they do, and it makes a difference. So these I should be able to split all right. Pretty straight grain. I've almost got it full. I got one more row to do, and I'm hand splitting it. I like doing that. All right, let's see. Let's take this one right here. I got a mess down here. Let's go ahead and split this one up with the steel clone of the MS250. See how it does, so you can compare it. I try to use these saws in kind of different scenarios, because a lot of you might do the same thing. I'm a little older, got kind of a bum shoulder, and splitting that in half, when it comes to splitting it with the maul, it makes a big difference than to sit here and whack at it 4 or 5 times to get the initial log broken in half. This saves time, a little easier on me. I'm going to cut this one in half. This one's kind of gnarly. It's got some bumps on it here and there. So I definitely want to split that one in half. That'll be a little rougher to split that one. One thing nice about this 20-inch bar versus that bar is I can get through the whole log a little better. I like my logs around 18, 20 inches, something like that. Starts up. You hear how quiet it is compared to that one. definitely a lot more quieter. So if the loudness is an issue, then you're probably going to want to get something like an Echo or Steel that kind of meets those higher regulations as far as the exhaust goes. But this is going to be a project saw. I have had the exhaust off on it, and the cylinder looks okay. I think that's part of the power loss. I don't know what the guy ran in it for oil and two-stroke before. It seems to start and run fine. The compression was a little low. So it's just from years and years of use probably. Put away hot and wet, you know, and might be time to do a rebuild on it. If I do a rebuild on it, I'm going to port it, and I'm going to do something with that exhaust. I think there's a guy on eBay that does mufflers for that. Well, there's one guy, if you give him the saw or you tell him the model of the saw, he'll make a custom exhaust for it. So that's an option. Around $89, something like that. $59 to $89. I've seen his stuff on there for $59. If it's something that he already makes, it's a more common, like a 372 or a 660, or, you know, some of the Husqvarna ones he has made, $395, stuff like that. All right, now I got to cut this up. But we're going to do a little something different. We're not going to use those two saws. We're going to use the 260. Now you guys, if you follow the channel, you know that little 260 is kind of giving me a little bit of a fit. And I'm constantly trying to make it better. And I think it has finally gotten better after about 6 tanks of fuel through it. Seems like to me that it has, that it finally opened up or woke up or whatever they do. I hear people all the time, yeah, I put 5 or 6 tanks through it. Now it runs great. I guess the rings have to seat or something. These clone saws, I don't know. I hear people say it all the time, and I've experienced it too. So this one has the decomp. So this is the Steel 260 clone from Husqvarna. So it's 50 cc's, 50.2 cc's. So we'll see how it does. see it does that every once in a while. It just boom, boom, boom. But it should start back up. Ah, see? Still saw it's still not right. When it cuts, man, it cuts crazy. I think it's got a bad carb or something. Because the other day I was running it and I was cutting all kinds of stuff up. And then today, I put this at the end of the video in case you watch the whole video. That's been a challenge saw right there. It's been a kind of a pain in the butt saw. But I got plenty of other saws. Still, it cuts like a scalded dog when it's running. But it's still got some weird stuff that just kind of randomly goes on with it. It starts running rough, then it just quits for no reason. And sometimes it'll open wide open. So, but that's not the video was about these two. In case you're looking for like a little 45 cc saw, you know, a good oldie and a newer model. You know, Echoes you can't beat. They hold their value. And of course the Steels do too, but this is a clone. But everybody's made the comment that the 250 is better than that 260. And when that one's running right, that one will eat this one. I mean, it really will. But the problem is, if it's not consistently running, and this one is, you can obviously get more done because you're monkeying with that one. So one of these days, probably this winter, I'll probably pull the head and everything off of this one, and maybe I'll turn this into a port job as well. Go through it, look for vacuum leaks. Maybe a case has got a vacuum leak in it, and when it's getting hot, it's opening up, and that's why it's running bad. I checked all the bolts, but I can get the parts for that one without any problem. So I'll get the parts. So these two right here might be port jobs this winter. And then we'll see if we can't make them into some good little screamers for the future. But I got a bunch of wood to split up. Try to get that. It's finally raining. We haven't had rain here in so long. It's so dry. Holiday weekend, it's going to rain like 5 days. It is what it is, and I'm glad for it. So I forgot I had my other camera over there running the whole time. We'll see you guys on the next one.